Hi everybody, it's Brenda Santos here with Mensen Studios. So I am making a short, quick video about heat transfers. One of the number one things I hear is that you can't do high volume. And while no process, in my opinion, is super fast, it all takes setup and time to produce your items. I do find that the heat transfers, when you're comparing it to, say, vinyl and having to weed it and do all of those steps, I think that this is just as an effective and fast method as any other. So the way I do it is I am kind of a one-man show right now, and we currently have an order for 162 soccer t-shirts, and so I am actually using heat transfer, Oki transfers for the front, and we're actually going to be doing screen print for the back just because we've got player numbers and names are all going to be different on each shirt, so that's a whole nother animal. But for the front, it's really not bad, and I'm going to show you how my kind of workflow is, my quick process. So please excuse my terrible angle, but I wanted to show you I have two heat presses set up. I've got our Stahls Hotronix here set to the temperature, and then I've got another Stahls heat press, the Max Press. This is a smaller press that we use for on-site, but since we're going to be doing kind of a really small print area, it's really not that big of a deal. The one thing that is really important on this workflow is to make sure that you have everything organized and set out so you can just move through everything. I've got my transfers over here set up, ready cut, ready to go. I've got my shirts in this pile. I've got my two heat presses on, and because they're 100% cotton, we've got it set to the proper temperature and pressure. And so there's 13 shirts here, so this should take me about 6 to 7 minutes, depending on, just little things like, getting distracted or dropping a shirt or anything like that. But pretty sure that it's only going to take me a few minutes to do these, so I will show you the process of actually applying the transfer. Here we go. This here. And from the other process, this takes a couple more seconds just because I'm measuring out, very technical with my fingers. I know that it's 4 fingers down is the size placement that I need for this. Again, it's, like I said, super technical. But while this is going, I've got this over here. And I've got a stool over here that I'm putting my cooling transfers. So again, put this here. Gives you just enough time. And then again, you just go in a loop. So when I get done with this round, basically, I just go and do the second press to make sure that they're really adhere to the shirt and it's kind of taking that shine off. So I have actually got my shirt set here, and I do this for the same for when we're applying the transfer. Okay, so grab a t-shirt, put it on the press, put the parchment paper down. While I'm doing that, I'm peeling this off, coming to the other press, putting this down. Oh, where's my parchment paper? Moving this here. And then I'm ripping a new one off. I don't know if you can see that. They're down here. They've got the first process done. So this is at 3 seconds now, so that gives me just enough time. So I pull the transfer paper off, put that on a pile for finished. Grab the one that I just pulled the front off. Go here. This one's done. So you see as this one's going, we're at 26 seconds. This one's at 4. And then we just go in a loop. Not gonna lie, I mean, it is work, so at the end of the day, you're gonna be tired, but that's kind of the nature of our business. Yeah, put this here. Okay, so I showed you how to do the front of the t-shirts that we're working on. So this particular order, we had a soccer team, and these were spirit shirts for their friends and their family. So each shirt has a player name and a number. So we had 162 of these to do. So as you know, trying to screen print different names, you can accomplish it with screen print vinyl, heat transfer vinyl, which is a nightmare to weed each number, especially for 162 players, all having different combinations of numbers. So what I did was, and you obviously don't want to set up a screen for each one, so it can get quite costly, or a lot of washing if you actually produce screens in-house. So what I did is I used the stencil method. I got plain not parchment paper, but butcher paper that I bought from Uline. It's kind of like the craft paper that you get kind of at Office Depot, but I bought it on a roll and super, super cheap. I ran it through the Graphtec, and we cut out the names and the number to correspond with the back. Okay, so this was trial and error for me. So what I figured out was if I set a exact square, you'll see it. Can you see this here? It is taped off where I want to make the change. We have an American flag that is the same on each shirt. And then the other problem that I ran into is, what do you do when you have, say, like these little holes, like in the A, the B, and the R? How do you line those up? So I'm going to show you that really quickly, and it has worked for me, and hopefully this will help somebody else. So now what I did is, this is some, what do you call it, parchment paper, so it doesn't stick. My board is tacky. I have sized my board and created dimensions that I know if I put it on the board, this is actually going to be the shoulders. It's going to be the exact same spot that I want it to line up across the back. So you're going to have to do some measuring for your own screen print setup, but once you get that done, it's very easy. So I use this paper so that way I can see my marks here and line everything up. So I know that the stencil itself should be about the width of the board. So as long as I center this way and then level it with this line, it will line up every single time. So I line this up like this, and it's a nightmare because it is parchment paper, so it's meant to not stick. So what I came up with was these big office clips, and I'm making sure that it's centered on my board, and then I clip one side and I clip the other. Oops. And that keeps it from shifting left to right. So it's level with this line. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it's level with the line. So now it's going to help me take care of these inside, what are called islands. So I used a Cricut cutting mat to cut out my letters, and I'll show you. So what you're going to do is take your A and your island, flip it around in here, and you're going to take that little piece and you're going to make sure that it stays inside. So you're going to do the same with your R. And that's why I have it clamped over there, because before I tried it without the clamp and it was a nightmare because it would scoot all over the board and I could never get anything lined up right. So this helped me go a lot faster. It cut down a lot of headaches because I was trying to eyeball those islands. Got to be upside down. trying to line up those islands, and that did not work because it was not even and it just didn't look good. Should be as correct. Okay, and then of course, like if you had like an 8 or a 0 or any other number that had an island in the middle, this is a 2, so obviously it doesn't, you would basically do the same thing. It's just obviously a larger number. Okay, so now once you've got all that set, you've got your islands in there. This looks like it goes in the top. Okay. That one wasn't cut completely through. So you want to make sure everything looks good. Okay, so here's a little bit of the tricky part. So you want to make sure you hold this down and don't move it. So you're going to have a steady hand. Like I just bumped it right there. If you did, it's okay. Just kind of push it back. Should be okay. Sometimes the moisture from your hand will make it stick. Okay, so that should be good. So then I'm going to pull off the old. I left this on intentionally so I could show you that you just replace in between each different version. Then you're going to pull your islands off. So then now what you're going to do is you're going to get your ink and you're going to do like a screen print. This is towards the last of the job, so I've actually got some paper stuck in there. So that's what the parchment paper is for. You're going to discard this. And then we're going to come up here and you're going to take off. You're going to make sure that you're still lined up where you want your islands to be, and then you're going to pull this A. So your little baby things will stay there. And the reason I came up with this method is because in my local supply store where I get my screen printing supplies, they had stencils, which were a font that I really didn't care for, that would have worked, but they were $168. This butcher paper, the entire roll, for like 50 feet or 100 feet cost me like 20 bucks. So it was much cheaper to do it that way. All right, so then all you do, grab your shirt. Again, I said I had my board lined up, so it's crucial for you to get your dimensions or your final dimensions right. But once you come up with a stencil, you save it. It is so much easier. So then you're just going to take this. Oh, sorry, let me add some more ink. Take this here. And boom. Okay, so in between, because this is a darker shirt, you're going to see, you can see the shirt through there. So you're going to flash dry this about 10 seconds. Sorry, it's stuck on the camera. Remove that. I'm glad this happened. This has happened to me a couple times on some shirts. You're going to see where the island kind of comes off. Just get a quick little tweezer pull it up and you can actually see on the screen. I know it's hard on camera to see where it goes. Just pop it back on there and you're ready to put it through the dryer. And so you just keep doing that for every shirt. Saves you a lot of money. Once you kind of get the hang of it, it saves you a lot of time as well. All right, hope this helps somebody. Talk to you all soon. Thanks.